Hello, and welcome to our sheet metal design presentation. This design and presentation are by Solanto Bulimu, Riley Cook, Carlisle Lomax, and Phat Nguyen. Our goal is to create two-dimensional forms from a single sheet of aluminum, which will be rolled into cylinders as the one shown here. The 13-gauge aluminum sheet that we are to create our cylinders from is 1.5 meters wide by 3 meters long, or, as we will be using centimeters from this point forward, 150 centimeters by 300 centimeters. The radius of the cylinders we are to create is 5 centimeters, meaning that the diameter is 10 centimeters, and the circumference of the cylinders is 10 pi centimeters, or approximately 31.41 centimeters. The cylinders are to be sheared off at an angle of 38 degrees, and the maximum height of the cylinder is 40 centimeters from bottom to top. Our design is to have as little waste as possible, and the scrap left over from the sheet using our design is 4,250.9 centimeters squared, which is less than 10% of the entire sheet. In order to create an ellipse, which is the shape created when a cylinder is sheared off at an angle, we will be using a sinusoidal wave. The formula in order to create a sinusoidal wave on the sheet is f of x equals negative 3.905 cosine of x over 5 plus 32.19. In this formula, x is the distance from the leftmost point on the sheet, and f of x is the vertical distance from the bottom of the sheet. 36 total cylinders can be made per aluminum sheet using our design. The first step in using our design is to shear the scrap from the aluminum sheet. The scrap is noted by the diagonal lines crossing through the small areas at the top and right of the aluminum sheet. Next, cut the remaining aluminum sheet in half horizontally, creating two aluminum sheets. Next, you will blank the final pieces from the remaining sheets. The next step is to roll the pieces into a cylindrical shape using a plate rolling machine. Finally, weld the pieces into their finished cylindrical form, creating the cylinders as shown earlier. Shearing is a process used to cut sheet metal in straight lines using a machine known as a power shear. A power shear consists of two things: a lower blade, also known as a die, and an upper blade, also known as a punch. Sheet metal is placed onto the die. Then, a hydraulic force is used to lower the punch. This will create a shearing force on the sheet metal, cutting it into two pieces. Blanking is a similar process. However, when blanking, the die and punch are both cut into the shape you desire to end your sheet metal with. This way, when the hydraulic force lowers the punch, the blank cut out of the sheet metal is in exactly the shape desired. Both shearing and blanking provide a slight misshapen edge, shown below. The different sections of this misshapen edge are known as the die roll, the fracture, and the burr. This edge provides a slight margin of error when shearing and blanking. This margin of error, or tolerance, when shearing, is 0.25 centimeters, or 1/4 of a centimeter. When blanking, it is less than 1/400th of a centimeter. A plate rolling machine will be used to roll the metal into a cylinder for welding. This 3-roll bender works by pinching the metal between 2 rolls and curving it as it comes into contact with a back-forming roll. This will form it into a perfect cylinder. These cylinders will then be gas metal arc welded. Gas metal arc welding is when an electric arc is formed between a consumable wire electrode and the metal desired to be welded. This electric arc will heat the metal, melting it and joining it together. The evaluation of our design involves a 1/10 scale prototype drawn on a paper template. On the left, you can see the paper template, and on the right, you can see the resulting cylinder when the shapes on the paper template were cut out, rolled, and taped together. As you can see, the resulting cylinders were almost exactly 1 centimeter in diameter. Our prototype found that the total waste was approximately 44 centimeters squared. This agrees with our waste in our design. The design we created creates 36 cylinders from a single 15 centimeter by 30 centimeter sheet. Thank you for watching our presentation. If you have questions about shearing, blanking, plate bending, or welding, you can use these sources to find more information.